Hey guys, Kevin Yates here. So today I am going to go over some simple things that you can do to help alleviate some neck pain that you might have. So any kind of nagging neck injuries, chronic pain, things like that. I'm going to go over a few pretty simple stretches. You might already be familiar with these stretches if you've had neck injuries before. And if you are, then hopefully I can just provide some tips to maybe make them a little bit more effective for you. Before we get into any of these, if you're going through any kind of neck injury right now, if you are seeing a physical therapist or doctor or whatever, make sure you clear these exercises with your doctor before you do them. All right, so I'm going to do some static stretches first, and then I'm going to get into some active flexibility exercises that you can do, which are, in my opinion, they are even more important than the static stretching because they often get left out in most recovery or rehabilitation programs. They tend to favor a lot of the static stretches, but they neglect the active flexibility. So I'll get into those in just a bit. So 3 stretches that we're going to target here. And what these stretches have to do with the most common muscles that are involved with our neck problems, which are the sternocleidomastoid that comes from the base of the skull, and it's that big muscle you ever seen. I don't know if I can make mine stick out here, but it's a big muscle that comes all the way down, attaches to the clavicle, and the other head of it attaches to your sternum. The other ones we're going to target are the upper trapezius and the levator scapulae. So I won't get into all the details about them, but those are the 3, usually the major contributors to neck problems, right? With that forward head posture we see, if you sit a lot at a computer or at a desk all day, kind of like this, right? Where the shoulders get rounded and slumped and the head's kind of protruding forward. So that's what happens when these muscles get chronically tight and or overused. So the reason I'm sitting on a chair, you can do these with me. This is why. This is one of the most effective ways I've found to do these stretches. We'll do the static ones first. So what you're going to do is you're going to anchor one arm. So if I'm stretching out the right side, I'm going to anchor my right arm under a chair. And you notice you want a chair that's going to give you an arm's length to anchor your hand under. So if you can't anchor it right under like the seat at arm's length, then reach down like on the leg a little bit. Just make sure that here's the big rule. I'll show you from the side. Posture. You want to make sure that you're not anchoring and reaching down like that. You've got to be really, really straight, okay? You want everything in alignment. Trust me, the neck is a very sensitive area, and it's something that you want to be making sure that you are optimally aligned from a posture standpoint before you're doing these exercises and when you're doing them. So make sure that you're up tall. So if I anchored my hand under, I'd be like this. I wouldn't be down here, okay? So we're up nice and tall, and the first stretch is for the upper trap. So it's just going to be real simple. If you stretch the right side, you anchor the right hand and vice versa. So we're going to do an ear to shoulder stretch, and make sure that when you do this, you're not getting overly aggressive. A lot of times people want to feel like a real big stretch and they crank that neck around, and you can really take an existing injury and make it a whole lot worse if you get overly aggressive. So your goal is just to find where you get a good, comfortable stretch. Enough to feel it, but you're not aggravating anything. And that's all you're doing is just dipping the ear to the shoulder. And we just typically hold it for maybe 15 seconds, up to 30 seconds, whatever feels comfortable for you. And then you do the other side, same thing. It's a good idea to stretch both sides out, even if you're asymptomatic on the other side. It's just to keep things balanced out, okay? So that's your upper trap stretch. The next stretch we'll do is for Levator Scapulae. So the way we're going to do that, again, I'm going to stretch the right side, so I'm going to anchor my right hand. This one's kind of funny, like you're sniffing your armpit type stretch. So that's what you're going to do. You're going to look almost toward your shoulder, but make it toward where your nose is almost over your armpit, kind of. And then you're just going to duck your head down there. So the anchoring right down here, when you look at it, you'll notice that if I didn't have my hand anchored and I was tight, when I stretch, I'm going to let go right now, you might see the shoulder come up like that, right? And what it does is it takes off the stretch. So the anchoring, you're going to feel like you don't have as much range of motion, but it's fine. All you're looking for is how much you can feel. And me, myself, I get some tightness issues on my right side, so when I move to the right, I don't have tons of movement. I have a lot better movement on my left. So, but that's your levator scapulae stretch. And then the next one we're going to do is the sternocleidomastoid. So this one, what this muscle does is it bends your head, like on the right side, the right part of it bends your head toward the shoulder and turns it a little bit. So what we're going to do is we're basically going to move it in the opposite direction. We're going to, if I'm stretching the right side out, I'm going to tilt my head to the left, and then it's going to be like I'm trying to look back over my shoulder and up, just kind of like that. And you'll feel it. It'll start to kind of pull right down. I'm going to move so you can see in the camera, right down in that area. That's what you're looking for to feel a stretch on. All right, so same time duration, about 15-30 seconds, all you need. Typically, I do them in order. Upper trap to levator to sternocleidomastoid. I do them like a circuit, and then I repeat it 3 times around. Okay, so those are some of the static stretches you could do. For the active flexibility, this is a key component because, you know, most injuries that we get, let's look at it. I mean, do we get injured when we're sitting in a chair kicking back? No. We get injured when we're moving around, when our muscles are working and contracting. So it's very important that in conjunction with static stretches, you're training the muscles of your body to stabilize certain segments and certain joints of your body while you're moving. That's the big key. Because if all we do is static stretches, then here's what happens. We feel good for now because we create some length and some space and we ease up the tension. But as soon as we get back to doing the activities that we normally do, it doesn't take long before the pain crops up again. So we get stuck in that cycle where we're active, then we get pain and injuries, we go back to our stretches, we feel better, go back to activity, injuries and pain again, and it's this on again, off again, all the time deal, right? So in my opinion, it'd be a lot better to teach you how to overcome those injuries so that you're not always getting banged up and having to go through this process all the time and end up limiting the activities that you normally do, okay? So basically what I look at is I teach some active flexibility exercises for the neck. The big thing as well that I'll touch on here is very, very important is that a lot of times these muscles get overactive in the neck when our stabilizers, our scapular stabilizers, that's these guys back here between our shoulder blades that help to keep our posture, you know, like this and lined up, kind of when they're weak. Because when they're weak, then our shoulder blades pull apart, they protract, and everything starts to drop here, and these muscles become dominant. So a lot of the exercises in conjunction with just your neck have to do with scapular stabilization. So pulling patterns, rows, you know, out wide and pulling out here and just working on squeezing the shoulder blades together and down. They'll go a long way in helping you as well. All right, so some of the active flexibility exercises, again, they're very, very basic. If you've done rehabilitation, you've probably done chin tucks, where I'll show you from the side. With chin tucks, you're just basically taking your head from kind of this position, and it's almost as if you had a wall behind your head, and you could do this with your head against the wall. And somebody was to just push you on the chin like that, you would tuck your head and then release. So it's just kind of like that. There's not much movement to it at all, right? What you don't want to do is move your head back like that, okay? It's just a tuck. It's just kind of like tucking your chin down towards your throat a little bit, all right? And that's going to help work on the deep flexors of the neck to keep everything locked in straight. Okay, another thing that we can do is just kind of taking the pattern from our upper trap stretch and making it into a dynamic pattern. So sitting up nice and tall, just bending to one side, back up to the middle, and back to the other. Back up to the middle, back to the other. Back to the middle, and back to the other. And we'll just go side to side like that. And you can do about 10 repetitions on each side. And only work with the range of motion that you have. Again, don't force anything. Okay, another one that we can work on is going side to side. So again, just working in this pattern, from one to the next. And I'm popular today, as you can hear it from my telephone. But I'm shooting this video, so I won't pick it up right now. All right, so those are side to side. Same thing, about 10 repetitions on each side. If you're really, really tight or you're really having trouble moving, you can do maybe 5 on each side and then progress to 8 and then to 10 as you're able. And then lastly, what we'll do is we'll work on some rolling as well. So you start with your chin down and then slowly, only within the range that you have, just kind of roll. You're going to roll all the way to the side, up to the other side, ear to shoulder, and then back down. Just like a big circle. Again, very basic, probably nothing that you don't already know. But I'll tell you, a lot of times, it's so easy to overlook these exercises because they look so easy when you're watching them. And you probably think, oh, that wouldn't do any good. Well, they really, really are helpful. All right, so those are actually 3, and including with the chin tucks, 4 simple exercises you can do to help with the neck. And then with the rolls, do them in each direction. Again, about 5 to 10 in each direction should be fine. All right, so that's your neck stretches and active flexibility exercises. Again, if you have any more issues with any kinds of injuries, or you want any more information, anything specific, just give me a holler here and let me know, and I'll put up a post or a video in the future to help you out. So let me know how it goes. Post me some comments with questions, concerns, feedback, and let me know how you're doing with it, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.